Trends are very dangerous, and I think the most dangerous thing about trends is the people who make it a trend.
Hey, it's Zadie, and I'm back with a new movie review.
And now we're going to talk about what I liked and what I did not like about this movie. If the story doesn't make sense, then nobody's going to actually remember the movie. Hey, it's Zadie, and you're watching Flytte Kartina. Today I'm going to be talking about Disney, a very hot topic in today's movie world, I guess. You know, it's always been a hot topic ever since, like, you know, it released its first animated feature. So yeah, as I start this video, I'm gonna play a little game for you guys today. How many Disney characters can you spot in this video alone? I'm gonna talk about why Disney live action remakes are not the best things in the world. Now I know what you're thinking. You are a Disney lover and you're like, hello, Disney remakes are amazing. They're live action recreations of our favorite animated movies. And in some cases, they actually work. Like in Beauty and the Beast, everybody loved that. Maleficent was a very unique and very risky, different take on Sleeping Beauty's story. The Cinderella one with Lily James, I think her name is, that one was amazing. Everybody loved that one. But there's also been a lot of flops too, like The Jungle Book. Nobody really liked Aladdin, and The Lion King that just came out recently just didn't work for a lot of people. They were like, I've seen this story all over again and it's not really helping my cause, for whatever your cause is. I don't know. Your purpose in life, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Sorry about the change of scenery. I actually have to switch to this now. So it'll be fun, actually. It'll be really fun. I went to handheld mode because my tripod just kind of died on me, so it's a fun time for me. Anyways, so we are going to talk about the problems of Disney live action remakes first. Just kind of get those out of the way and, you know, like leave people with hard feelings a little bit later. But there's a lot of problems with live action remakes. There's no new information that we are actually achieving. It's in the name, live action remake. It's a remake of what the original is. So basically you're just taking these characters and giving them life and faces to their characters. Like I said before, a lot of people like Beauty and the Beast and what happened there. I personally didn't like that movie a whole ton. It was great and different and a little bit newer than I had expected it to be, but at the same time it wasn't my favorite live action remake. I really liked the Cinderella one. I think the director who did that and the producers who worked on it, the entire creative team really pulled off a really good live action remake, and I think people should refer back to that, reference it, because it was so good. You kept the original story, but you also added more things to it that made the story new and exciting. And Cinderella's not very much of a musical as much as it is a animated movie, but there are still some songs in there that have been incorporated into the movie, both in the live action and in the animated feature. And it was just an ingenious way of combining the two mediums. But like I said, most of the problem with live action remakes is that they're live action remakes and there's no new information for us to handle. It's like how the Star Wars fans who really like the Star Wars franchise, they just do not like prequels at all. Like Solo, they hated that movie because there's no new information. Rogue One was an amazing movie, but there was no new information that we had, like, you know, there's no development into the actual world of Star Wars. There's just, like, you know, backstory, and those entire movies are exposition, which no one likes. That is the main problem with Disney remakes. There's also, okay, I've seen a lot of video essays on the very art of animation, and most of it is traditional animation, but some of it is 3D animation, but mostly traditional animation. The art of traditional animation is that you can do things in that medium that you cannot do in live action. One of the videos that I was watching said that basically the Genie character, Robin Williams is an amazing voice actor and he has movement within his voice, right? So he also did like impressions and created characters out of thin air by using his voice, and the animators just basically tuned themselves to that voice and molded the character to whatever it was. So like in anime, when they have like these weird like effects on them that suddenly they just go to chibi instead of like real life figures, like that's an art style and effect that is used in animation to further the story and to add comedic value or whatever it is. You cannot do that in live action. Live action is specifically live action. Basically, you can't do anything that the laws of physics do not allow you to do unless you're a superhero, which none of these Disney movies are superhero movies. They could have done some things in Genie's character in Aladdin for the live action, but they didn't. because of money for funding the blue thing. So basically what they're trying to do is taking an impressionist painting, which is Impressionism, and they're taking that impressionist painting and they are trying to make that impressionist painting into a picture. That's not going to work because that's an entirely different medium and you are limited in different ways in both mediums, in both Impressionism and in photography, that you can't recreate one or the other. An Impressionist painting cannot be a photograph, and a photograph cannot be an Impressionist painting because of the distinct styles that is used in both of those genres. Same thing goes for animation and live action. You cannot recreate the scene in Prince Ali where Genie is transforming into all these different characters before your very eyes, because in animation, that is possible. It is animation, and those are the kind of medium that utilizes transformative abilities. You could do that in a live action thing, but it doesn't look as good, and also they didn't do it. So that just kind of proves my point. What I think could be a lot better for Disney to do is for them to make their live actions, but put a different spin on them. Like I said, in Maleficent and Cinderella, they added things to the movies that were, you know, different and new and exciting, and it made the story seem a completely different story than what you saw in the animated feature. But at the same time, it was the same essence, if you could, the same essence of what Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty was. I guess they did that in Beauty and the Beast, but I'm not going to go into that because I don't remember a lot of Beauty and the Beast. So that's what they could have done instead, or they could have done a modern Disney story. Say for instance, Descendants. I know it's cheesy and really like cheaply made. It's really cheesy, like the pacing is very off, the dialogue is cut and dry, like it doesn't really work for an adult audience. It works for a kid's audience, but for an adult audience it doesn't really do that. The evil queen in that movie, she's played by Kristen Chenoweth, who's an amazing actor, but at the same time she looked like basically a costume that you bought from Party City. Yes, Descendants is cheesy and bad, but they took a new spin on the tales of Disney villains and Disney princes and princesses. So for instance, let's take Aladdin. That was an amazing movie. I will not lie, it was amazingly produced and I did enjoy the movie. It was entertaining. However, what if Princess Jasmine was the daughter of a CEO who had had multiple assassination attempts? And then what if Aladdin was a basic like skater homeless guy on the streets of, let's say, Chicago? And then you have Genie, who is basically, let's just say that's his street name, and he works as a temp for all of these different major corporations so he can get into places that most people cannot because of all of his access points. And then Jafar is like the disgruntled secretary or something like that, and I would watch that movie. If Aladdin was set in Chicago, I would watch that movie. Wouldn't you watch that movie? It would be amazing, right? That's what I think Disney could do instead. They could go the Cinderella route where they just take the original story, take the essence of it, take the very embodiment of what it means to be Cinderella, and then put that forth, but also like the subplots are very different from the subplots in the actual animated feature. Or they could go the Maleficent route and go to the villain story, but sometimes that doesn't work all the time, depending on who is the creative lead on that, or what Disney executives are trying to do with that sort of thing. If they did a movie on Jafar, which there is a movie on Jafar in the animated world, actually, but if they did that with Jafar, I don't know how well that would go over or anything, or like Gaston. Maybe it would go over a little bit well, but so at certain points it would get old. But I think what Disney should do is modernize these Grimm's fairy tales or whatever they're doing. You could modernize Jungle Book. It is possible. You don't have to use a bunch of CGI to make a good live action remake. Remake can be taken in different contexts other than like literally the same story retold in a different medium. Okay, now I'm tired and I'm gonna go to bed. Okay, before this video ends, I gotta ask you guys, how many Disney characters did you spot throughout the whole video? Let me know in the comments down below, but before you go all the way down, there are a couple of buttons that you could potentially push. So the buttons that would help me out, help this channel out, help this video out are the subscribe button and the like button. The subscribe button lets me know that you really like my content and you're going to keep watching that. And then the like button lets me know that you like what content I'm putting out, this content specifically. The last button is the bell icon, which is actually strictly for you so that you are one of the first people to know when I upload my next video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great random Thursday. I will see you on the other side of the screen. Bye!